Hi, it's Paul, and today I'm an old man with an explanation of my bike vlogging setups. In this instance I'm going to talk about the Brompton Electric, which is a electric folding bike, smallest fold you can get. There's information about that elsewhere on the channel, so feel free to go and have a look after you've watched this. I run a semi-permanent camera mount installed on the Brompton because it saves me time swapping stuff about when I move the cameras from bike to bike. I'll come to the mounts themselves in a minute, but first of all let me talk about the cameras. I run two Insta 360-1R cameras on the bike. That's the older 1R version, not the new 1RS. To be honest, I don't see a lot of difference between the two, apart from battery capacity for me really, which would be useful. Normally I'll record my full rides of 1 to 2 hours and then cut out the bits that I want to use in the edit. Couple of reasons I do this. One, it saves faffing about and stopping with setup for shots and that kind of thing. And the other, I use the cameras as a sort of dash cam approach, so I record the whole journey anyway, just in case anything happens, because I do a lot of road work. It's not the way most people do it. Most people will go to a location, set up a shot, take the shot, and then move on, so they'll have a bunch of individual bits to edit together at the end. I won't say my way's better, it just suits what I want to do. I cycle because I enjoy it, not because I want to go out and get the video footage. The video footage is kind of a secondary thing to me, really. Also, if something happens spontaneously, it gives me a chance to see it afterwards. Whereas if I'm recording in bits and pieces, I'd have to stop, get the camera out, take the shot or whatever. Occasionally you'll see random footage of ducks or geese or whatever when I'm down on the towpath, and I wouldn't get that if I was running a standard method of stopping and taking shots. So that's that. Let's move on. I run the 360 lens on the front of the bike so that I don't have to worry about setting camera angles up or anything like that. Again, I can set up a reframe in the edit, and I mount it on a ram mount, which is a ball mount on the handlebar stem of the bike. So let's just jump back into the office and have a quick look at how that goes together. Here's the whole setup shown together then. The ram mount ball on the headstock, the extension arm, the camera mount on the end of it, and then spinning round to see it again exactly the same from the other side. For those that are interested, there's an entirely separate video coming up on how I got the Rode Wireless Go connected to the side of it. That was a challenge in and of itself. Here's the whole lot seen stripped down on the bench. On the left, the Insta 360 camera, then the small rig camera frame, then a RAM action camera mount, then a RAM long arm, and then over on the right, a ball mount, and then here's that ball mount again shown in position on the handlebar clamp. I took out the original Brompton bolt and replaced it with a longer new one to go in the ball mount. A point worth mentioning is that the bolt is a bit of an odd thread. I measured it up as metric 7mm. I ordered one in off of eBay or Amazon or somewhere, but when I went to put it in, it was very, very tight, and I kind of felt uncomfortable tightening it in, but it's in, it's tight, it does the job. So I would double check with someone if you can, if you're going to replace this bolt, because I'm a little bit uncomfortable as to whether it's actually exactly the right thread.
Here's the ball mount itself, and an important point to make here is this isn't an original Ram one, and when it came in it was just plain metal. The problem with that is that when you clamp the arm up on it, it slips about and doesn't grip well, so I had to put something on it. I used some industrial heat shrink, but I guess you could use tape or something, but if I was buying another one now, I would replace it with the proper Ram mount, because that comes in coated in rubber. Then I have another ball mount that I can mount instead of the frame clamp on the side of the bike, just to put a camera in a different angle, get a different position, perspective on life. The bolt size in this instance is a standard 8mm, so I just took out the clamp bolt and replaced it with an 8mm socket head bolt. Here you can see it in position on the bike, and now we'll see it actually in action with the return of the annoying squeaking, for which my apologies. Just to clarify then, all of this movement, as you see the shot pan round, is done using the editing software. None of it's done by moving the camera. The camera stays still, it just clamps on the end of the bar and that's it. Because it's a 360 camera, in the Insta 360 software, you can manipulate the view around and zoom in, zoom out, do all sorts of stuff, of which this is only a fraction, but that's how it's done. It's not moving the camera.
So that's the front end setup. If you find this stuff useful, please consider giving the like and subscribe thing. Also, there's a link to Ko-fi or Ko-fi, however you pronounce it, one of the buy me a coffee sites, in the description. If you would consider a contribution to the run of the site, again, that would be most welcome. So, onto the setup on the back. So on the back I run the normal wide angle lens, and that on the Brompton sits on a aftermarket seat mount, aluminium thing that I bought off of Amazon. And again, I'll jump back to the office and explain it, because there's a couple of things worth knowing about it.
Here's a couple of shots of the camera in position on the seat post, then a closer look at the frame itself, and then a look at the bracket. The way it's bolted to the seat post is simple enough, but you might wonder what the O-ring is doing wrapped round it in the middle, and I'll try and explain that. Because it's aluminium, it doesn't tighten onto the camera frame properly, and the camera frame flops about. So when I put the camera in, I have to press it up against the O-ring and it kind of jams against it, which is how it stays in place. Not a particularly elegant solution, but it does the job.
Okay then, thanks as always for watching. I hope you found something useful in it. If you've got any questions or comments, just throw them as always in the comments below, or wander over to oldmanwith.com and use the ask a question function. And I will see you hopefully on the next video. Bye.